Hello, my name is Julie Salisbury. I am the founder of Influence Publishing, and welcome to this new series where we will be interviewing authors of influence, authors that are creating positive change in the Tri-Cities community. And our first guest I'd like to welcome is Christine Till.
Hello.
Welcome,
nice to
Christine.
Be here.
Christine is the author of Fired at 50. Stop looking for work and discover what you were meant to do. And Christine launched her book in March, published by Influence Publishing. And Christine, first of all, before we get into the subject of your book and how you're helping people in the community, tell us a little bit about what happened to you when you were fired at 50.
Well, when I was fired at 50, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. You know, after you go through the tears, and then you think, oh, well, I'm not a frump, I can go and get a job, right? So, and you find out after you do that, the only jobs available are for $10 an hour. And then I figured in my head, I'd have to be working 3 jobs. So then I started looking for my strengths, and what are my strengths? What have I got that I could bring to the community and offer people that they would need and want and be willing to pay for? And I went through all of this, and as I was going through it, I started networking. And I found that there were more people in my shoes than just me.
Yes, I've heard this story many times, particularly in this community where there's a lot of baby boomers and 50 plus people that have lost their jobs. Now they're in an environment where they can't find another job. But what you're saying is you actually help people to, instead of look and get back into the workplace, you're actually helping them to figure out what their skill sets are and what their tools are and actually create their own work.
Yes. That's exactly it.
And the networking groups are the local business networking organizations that are there to bring together people like this.
Yes.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about when you went to these networking groups and what did you observe and where did you feel that you can help these people?
Can I tell you a story? I'd love to tell. You know, as I went to these networking meetings, and I'd look around the table and I noticed that I bet you 60 to 70% of the people sitting around those tables had gray hair. And so then I just sat back and I went, oh my gosh, they're like me. And so then I didn't feel so alone. But and I watched them struggle, different ones struggle, not all of them, but they're the odd ones that would struggle trying to talk about themselves. And I remember this one gentleman, and he had his doctorate, and he came to the meeting and he needed a haircut, really needed a haircut. And he had let his gray beard grow, but it looked, you know, the young guys that have the black beards, that have the 6 o'clock,
yes,
kind of looks
like that, the sexy 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes, that's yes. Right.
Uh-huh.
But when you have gray in your beard,
it doesn't work.
It looks like you've been on a binger for 3 days and haven't seen a shower, you know, and I don't want to put any negative light on anybody. So, and then he had this wrinkly polo shirt, and he had blue jeans with holes in the knees, which I'm sure he thought was in and stylish, and runners. And he was at a business meeting. And I just wanted to go up to him and just give him a hug and say, oh, you need to lose the polo shirt. But you can't do that. You just can't, because you would just shatter their self-esteem. Because obviously he was struggling, because when he stood up, he said, I can do this and I can do this. And if you need this, I can help you with this. And it was like he was throwing up over his whole audience. And we all just sat there in silence and went, you could just tell by the looks on everybody's faces that, oh, everybody just felt so bad for him. But you can't tell them that. And then I got the brainwave. I could write a book.
Great.
And help people that way.
So let's talk about the book, Fired at 50, Stop Looking for Work and Discover What You're Meant to Do. Can you give us some examples of the kind of tools and stories that you tell in the book to help people find what they were meant to do?
Well, I was literally dragged into the 21st century 4.5 years ago, kicking and screaming. I had no social media whatsoever. And so when I was fired at 50, I had been already working in social media and using podcasting and some of the social media platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and writing a blog, and to help promote the company that I was working for. I was doing it on my own time and became pretty good at using social media and doing podcasts. So that was the first thing that I turned to when I was looking for my strengths. And so I invited really great people to be my guests on my show. And I found them through one of the social media platforms called LinkedIn. And they were wonderful. I had all different kinds of coaches and authors and business people. And every single one of those people, I realized, was helping me. I was learning from everybody that I was interviewing on my show.
Wow.
And so then I got the brainwave. Oh, I've just been fired. I have no money. So how am I going to pay for a coach? I needed a coach. I desperately needed a coach because I had no idea what I was going to do with my business. Well, they traded. So we did series on my podcast show. I did LinkedIn training, and they would then coach me. So I got all kinds of help for my business. And I want to teach other people how you can dig into your tool chest and find your strengths. So when you're fired at 50, you will know how to be able to find something that you can monetize yourself with.
I think that is the challenge. It used to be that it was very easy to find work, but now in this time where you have Facebook and Twitter and blogging, you really need to understand a different way of communicating. Now I know in your book you actually interview lots of different people, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, when I was writing my book, and thanks to you, it was your brainwave. You said, well, all these people have been helping you. And I thought, yes. So they could be contributors because they had so much great information to share. So I've got 13 people who I asked to write submissions for my book. And they all said yes.
Great.
And I just could hug them every day.
This isn't just your resource, so you are actually telling the stories of similar people that have had other experiences in your book.
Yes, that is so true.
Yes. So tell us, Christine, other than, of course, buying the book, which is a wonderful resource, how else do you help people in the Tri-Cities?
Well, I've started a meetup group, and I'm just so excited to be able to have this group going. We're going to meet once a month. We're going to meet in the Tri-Cities. And the goal of this group is to meet in a different location each month. So at the different senior centers, I discovered that you only have to be 50 to be a member at the senior center. So it's perfect demographic for this meetup group. And I want to invite everybody who has found themselves with a little bit of gray hair at the temples and trying to figure out how to market themselves in the 21st century.
And of course, networking with other people in
Yes.
exactly the same situation that are going through the same challenges. And I understand also that you offer webinars and free resources for people that need to, get started on social media, people that don't even know the basics about social media.
Yes, that's right. When I realized that I knew a little bit about social media, and especially about LinkedIn, I realized that there were so many people there at these networking meetings that didn't, and they really wanted to know. They wanted to learn how. And I've been in sales and marketing most of my adult life, and I've just transferred all my traditional skills to online. And so that's what I try to teach people who are trying to learn how to use those same skills, how to move them to online, and how to do it in a minimal amount of time. So I do a webinar once a week, and I do weekly tips, and I teach workshops and do one-on-one coaching.
So how does someone get hold of you?
Well, they can get hold of me through my website, marketingmentress.com. And just there's a place where you can go and enter your contact information and send me a message.
Great. So that's marketingmentress.com. And your book, Fired at 50, that's available online, normal places like Amazon, etc.
Yes.
I believe you can also buy it from your website.
Yes.
An autographed copy from
Yes.
your website.
If you get it from my website, you get an autographed copy.
Very
That's
good.
the caveat.
Marketingmentress.ca or .com. Marketingmentress.
.com or .ca. I've got them
same.
both.
Marketingmentress.com. And also any bookstore will also have access to your books as well. So Christine, thank you so much. And it's fantastic that you're helping fellow people in the Tri-Cities area that are in a similar situation and been fired at 50. And thank you for coming. And anybody who needs Christine's help, then please go to marketingmentress.com, and she has lots of free resources, and go to her free webinar series, and also make sure you come to one of the meetup groups. Thank you, Christine, for your time.
You're very welcome. It's all about being pink-slipped and turning it into a blessing.
That's great. Thank you.